welcome. This is a ritual. It seems to be a 10-year ritual that we come here. New Hampshire was here on its own 10 years ago, trying to make a difference. A lot of the individuals here have been here on their own trying to make a difference.
There you go.
Tell them who you are. Tell them who you are, Mike.
We've been here before. This is like a 10-year ritual. We've got a new building. The old building's down the road. 10 years from now, there'll be another building down the road.
Bigger building.
There's going to be a lot of people speaking today. There's a lot of stories here, a lot of negative stories. You can go back in the 70s when I was in high school. It was a community effort to get anything done. It was Earth Day, the Vietnam War, Nixon. We were protesting against oil refineries, nuclear power plants, pollution, big business. And there's been an evolution, and it's gone the wrong direction, especially in places like this parking lot.
That's right.
Just a personal experience I've had. As an individual, I had a couple of teachers in high school who made a difference to me. I remember them. Back in the 70s, one wore white socks, black loafers, and had a crew cut. He was a resident of Pork Chop Hill at one time, which a lot of people don't even know about. The other teacher that I had, young, idealistic, long hair, knew about the Constitution, told individuals what rights they had. And I took all this in. I digested it, assimilated it, and I thought that's the way it was in America. I appreciated the fact that people before me had actually given their lives, become crippled, chair-bound, whatever, dislocated from their families, to give me the rights that I have today, individual rights. Okay, constitutional rights. Just as an instance, I fought people before in the past on my own, and a lot of times it doesn't work. In 2001, everybody here that was fishing realizes what an abortion it was to call the Days at Sea call-in service. And just as a little ad-lib story, I'll try to make it short, you used to get put on hold, and you felt terrible. Every morning at 2 o'clock in the morning you would call up, and they'd say, please stay on the line for the next available operator. Your call is important to us. You know, after a while, in the fishing industry, if you work 15, 20, 30, 40 days in a row, 15, 16 hours a day, in the morning, this gets quite tedious. And as a human, you know, your wits, you know, start to, you get at wit's end and you've had enough. Okay? So I said to myself, what should I do about this? So I called up the agent in charge. I left messages with the operator. I said, there's a problem with your call-in service. I'm trying to go to work in the morning. I've been put on hold 13 days in a row. I said, I can't take it anymore. I'm only human. I said, you people are not doing your job. If it persists, tomorrow I'm going fishing. If I'm put on hold, well, a Days at Sea calling number. No big deal. This sounds stupid. It's like swatting a mosquito to most of you people. Okay, but I made that stand. The next day I was put on hold. I tried to get a hold of the agent in charge. I made 7 calls in 13 hours, didn't get a hold of anybody.
Excuse me, you picked that up a little bit, I think with
Okay.
Is there more volume on that?
I don't
I think
know.
it's maxed out.
I think you can find some more volume. You can't hear it very well back here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, I made 7 calls in 13 hours, got a hold of no one. I went fishing. When I returned, I finally got a hold of the agent in charge. And I told him what I did. And he told me that he realized that there was problems with the Days at Sea calling service, and he tried to rectify that. And then he said to me, he said, now what should we do about you? And I stated to him, I said, I went to high school and you went to high school, and we probably had the same courses, maybe different teachers, but I have a civic responsibility to make a difference, and I have to go the extra mile to do it.
Yeah.
He hung up on me. The next day, you talk about arrogance and authority. It's not National Marine Fisheries Service. They don't serve us. They're an authority. The next day, I get a notification in the mail that I've got a $10 fine, a $10,000 fine for sailing without a 16-digit number. I said to myself, this is wonderful. I'm the whistleblower and they're shooting the messenger. Okay, no big deal. So I call the general counsel up of the National Marine Fisheries Service. I won't mention any names because when I did that, they said I got personal. I've got a name. My name was put in the back of the Commercial Fishery News and the National Marine and the Commercial Fishermen on the Novas, saying that I was cited, pretty much insinuating I'm a criminal. I sent letters to the, certain commercial fishing newspapers saying, I'd like you to follow this up. I sent letters to my senators saying I'd like to have a little help in this. No reply. As an individual, people don't want to help you. As a group, hopefully we can come together, show some solidarity and get some results here. Anyways, as in World War II, when somebody told the Germans nuts, we're not surrendering, I said the same thing. I let the fine go by. I didn't pay anything. I get notified the fine after 30 days is $110,000. They're going to sanction my permit. I'm the one that's correcting the problem that they had. I said, forget about it. So after soliciting several people and trying to get somebody that will help me out, you're by yourself in this, and remember that. And even though we're a fishing industry, we are still by ourselves. There's a lot of people out there that could care less about us.
Absolutely. They're all fishing.
So when push came to shove, I finally show up down at a hearing. I'm facing a $110,000 fine, sanctioning my permit. After being screened for security at the old building, we go upstairs with the agent in charge, the general counsel, and some other guy, I don't know who it was. My senators would not send aides with me because they said it was inappropriate. I said, to witness this fact? I said, my civil rights are being, thrown out the window. No, we're not going to help you. Newspapers didn't want to help me. Nobody wanted to help me. As an individual, you're by yourself. So I go see an attorney, a family friend, and I tell him the situation. He said, he looks at that. He says, administrative court, guilty until proven innocent. He says, Mike, he says, the National Marine Fisheries Service is like an elephant and it's sitting on you and nobody's going to help you. You have to give in if they offer you a settlement. He said with a somber tone, I know what type of person you are. You better consider taking this settlement. I says, and let the people down in the past that have died to protect my rights. He says, Mike, that's the way it is nowadays. So I go down there. I filed for Freedom of Information Act. I had taped phone conversations. I've got phone bills. I still have them today. I've had them for 10 years. I proved my case. The fine goes from $110,000 to zero. They still want to sanction my permit for 7 days. I said, why? The general counsel says, because we have to get something. Okay? What they got were my principles. I sold out. I let the people down that are in the damn ground, that died for me, that died for Americans, that died for civil rights, that died for democracy, that died for free enterprise. I want to go back to my high school and say, don't teach principles that are not real, that they're ideal but they're not real. There should be a follow-up. Somebody should be able to prove this in the long run, should be able to experience what it is to be an American, to be an individual, to have a right no matter how small it is, and to maintain that right. We are having rules and regulations forced down our throat. We're being forced. We're getting on the train. What, are we going to Auschwitz next? It's totally unfair.
FEMA camps.
Okay? So anyways, not to get off the subject, I ended up forfeiting my principles. I signed for a 7-day sanction, and that was it. However, I still have all the records. I've still got the tapes. I've got the letters I wrote to people. And it's funny, but 10 years later, somebody comes around and says, hey, there's been abuses. There's a 97% conviction rate with NMFS. Is there anybody out there who would like to say anything about it? I show up down to Gloucester and go see this investigating or inspecting general, and I said, look, I'm your man. I've maintained a box full of these documents. I want to go, I want to see that general counsel on the other side of the table, and I want the table to be level. I want to have my day. And I want to have a follow-up, and I want to put people on notice here today, whoever is interested, follow this story. I want to go down and see Michael Ketover, and I want to be at the table with the general counsel on the other side, and I won't name his name, but he's in this building.